For dessert, I am making my giant almond butter blossoms, which are so satisfyingly chewy and dense, and they've got a whole honkin' chocolate bar in the center. To start on my dough, I'll combine my dry ingredients. I'll get 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. This is a big batch of big cookies, but Nick needs the energy from planting. And with all the almond butter in the cookies, you know, they're basically a protein bar. 2 teaspoons of baking soda, which will react with the acidity in the brown sugar and just help make these cookies really chewy and kind of crackly. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, which complement the almond butter really nicely, and 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. Now I'll get this combined. So these are giant versions of the peanut butter blossoms that my mother-in-law makes with Bernie every year around the holidays. And typically they have those teardrop-shaped chocolates in the center, but I'm making them big because I wanted more of the chewy center. And also when you use the chocolate bars versus the teardrop chocolates, I feel like you can get a better ratio of chocolate to cookie in every bite. I love them so much. For the wet ingredients, I'll combine 1 cup of softened unsalted butter, 1 cup of almond butter. And this is unsweetened almond butter, so I can more control the level of the sweetness. I'm adding a lot of sugar already. And then 1 cup each of granulated sugar and light brown sugar, so that you get a little bit of that darker molassesy flavor with the light brown sugar, but it's not overpowering the almond flavor. I'll get this onto my mixer, and then I'll mix this up until it's combined and creamy, but I'm not gonna aerate it too much because in the end, I want this cookie to be extra dense. Now that it's combined, I'll add 2 eggs, 1 at a time. Oops, I added them both. They're still gonna be delicious. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I'll reduce the mixer to low and then dump in the dry ingredients. And I'll add them in all at once so that I don't risk over mixing some of the dry ingredients and developing gluten and then getting not a great texture in the end. Smells delicious. I'm smelling that cinnamon. Before kids, I was a little bit more loosey-goosey about eating raw eggs and raw flour, and this is the type of dough I could just go to town on. These days, I'm quite a bit more neurotic. The dough is done. I'll set up my shaping station. I've got my baking sheets, which are lined with parchment, and I've got a plate of sugar because I'll roll the cookie dough in the sugar, which will help add more sweetness and a little crunch on the exterior. I've got a 1/4 cup capacity ice cream scoop, which is gonna give you big honkin' cookies. And I'll roll it into a ball and then roll it into the sugar. Place it on a baking sheet. Adorable. I'll keep on scooping and rolling and then bake these at 375 for about 12 minutes until they're golden around the edges. And then it'll be time to give them their chocolate bellies. I'm smelling that cinnamon. They look awesome already. While they're still hot and soft, I've got my chocolate bars here that I'll press right down on top. And I'll give them a firm press so that the edges can crackle all around them just like that. And I'm using classic grocery store waxy milk chocolate here because it just tastes nostalgic to me and I do love the creamy texture. These are looking gorgeous already. These will go back into the oven now for about 2 minutes so that the chocolate can melt slightly and meld with the cookie. I can't wait. This is the hardest part because now I have seen the cookies, I've smelled them. Gotta wait another couple of minutes. That was a rough 2 minutes, but I made it. Now we're talking. All right, while the chocolate is still melty, I'll sprinkle them with toasted almonds because it's pretty, it tastes good with that added crunch. It's time. It's nutty, it's chewy, it's sweet. That's a gigantic cookie with gigantic flavor.